I'm Christine Connor from Amelie Scott Designs, and the new owners of Quilt Beginnings, Betsy and Galen Kelsch, let me borrow the Bernina 990 so I could take it over to Studio B and make some videos to help you with edge to edge so you can get quilting right off the bat as soon as you get your machine out of the box. And I don't think I'm going to let go of this one. I'm just going to hold on to it the whole time. Well, today what I want to do is show you 4 things that will help you with edge to edge quilting on this machine. First of all, I'm going to explain to you why you want to choose that BQM file format for amazing quilting results on this machine. And by the way, all of our edge to edge products have the BQM file format now. I'm also going to show you where you go to turn that amazing laser light on. That thing is just really slick. And last, I'm going to show you where you go to move the design around so that you can connect the start point to the end point. It's a little different than the 700 series. And the last thing I'm going to show you is why you want that quilt stitch feature turned on. So let's get ready to roll. So when you first start your machine, you'll have your home screen, and you can always get back to the screen with the little house icon over here on the side. So I'm going to go to embroidery, and the very first thing I want to do is bring up that laser light, which is right on the left hand side all the way at the bottom. It's that very last icon, and if you just touch it, you will see a little laser light will come on your machine. And that's really, really cool when it comes to positioning. The next thing I want to do is bring in my embroidery design. So I'm going to go to my USB stick, which is where I have the design, or you can use some of the designs in here if you want. And I'm going to pick the BQM file format because the BQM file format is Bernina's quilting machine format. So I'm going to select, I'm on the upside down one now, the B file. So I'm going to bring that in. Now here you see on the screen my needle, my laser light is about right here underneath my needle, and here is my endpoint. I have to travel all the way over there to connect it. So where do I go to do that? You know, in the older machines, or the B990 that I have, you know, there's a little, I just go to stitch out, hit the hoop, and I move it, but I can't do that in this machine. I have to go to the edit button, click on it, and then under edit we have all these subheadings. There's the edit subheading, there's the arrange subheading, and if you move down there's the position subheading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up the arrange heading so it brings up the positioning heading a little bit closer to me and on the screen, and I'm just going to click on the virtual positioning icon. Now what I can do is I can use my little knobs on the side, and I can just move that needle. I can move that needle so it just goes over and travels to where I want it to be. If it doesn't move, make sure it didn't turn itself off. Okay, so how do I get to stitch out from here? This little green icon down here, that's your stitch out button. So I'm going to click on it, select it, and this is real important. Okay, so this screen tells you everything you pretty much need to know. It tells you what hoop you have in, and I've got my maxi hoop in. It tells me how big it is in inches. Quilt settings. I want that quilt setting on. Okay, I don't want any basting. My stitch plate's automatic. I left it at 9mm stitch plate. I've got my presser foot at 26, and so on. And I'm just going to say okay to that. And now I'm going to be ready to stitch. Now I can lower my presser foot, bring up, and let me tell you why you want to have the BQM file format. You remember that quilt stitch feature that we turned on? I said to make sure you turn on. What that's going to do is basically turn this embroidery machine into a quilting machine, and it's going to give you a bunch of tiny little stitches just like a long arm machine does, and then it will go into its normal stitch length, and that's just going to help secure that stitch and you won't have a knot on the back. If you have the EXP file format in the machine, it's not going to do that. It's just going to start with big 2.5 millimeter stitches right off the bat. So if you want those little stitches at the beginning and end, then you need to have the BQM file format. And by the way, we have converted all of our edge-to-edge products from Amelia Scott Designs. All of them have the BQM file format. All right, so I'm going to lower the presser foot, bring up my bobbin, and I've got a really nice extension, I think. If I can't tell, I can always turn that laser light off. It was kind of right in my eye. I turn it back on. And I'm just going to lower the presser foot and start stitching. And I think you will be able to see the little tiny stitches that start at the beginning. Now we get the big stitches. Let's stop that. Now I'm going to just go ahead and clip this. If you wanted to take these threads to the back and sink them, you could most certainly do that. But because I have little stitches here, I don't think I need to do that. See those little stitches stitching, and that's it. Now the one thing I have to tell you, if you're using the quilt stitch, if you're using the BQM file format and the quilt stitch feature, you're going to have to remove the hoop and cut the bobbin on the back side because it will still be attached. Because it turns off, the quilting feature turns off your scissors automatically, and a few other features. Okay, so as a quick review, your laser light is right down here at the very bottom of the screen on the left-hand side. You want to turn that on. To get to the moving the design around that virtual stitch position, you want to select the edit button, and it's under position and it's virtual positioning. Once that's selected, you'll be able to move that needle left and right using your function knobs or your knobs on the side of your machine, just like you always have on a Bernina. And then to stitch it out, you'll just hit the green icon, make sure everything's set up, hit it again, lower your presser foot, and you're ready to stitch. I hope that was helpful. Thank you.